Greetings and salutations. My name is Michael Schwahn, and if you can't tell, I'm putting in a whole lot of effort right now. But the reason for this is because we had previously done a reaction video to Atlas Fallen, the latest game from Deck 13, creators of The Surge and The Surge 2, published by Focus Entertainment. And one of the things we had announced during that video is that we were going to be streaming a playthrough of the game with one of my best friends. His name's Tony, otherwise known as Theslamar, depending on his handle and what he just feels like sharing at that point in time. And we started that on Tuesday, and we will not be continuing it. And it's not just because the game isn't great, okay? There are some good things about the game. It looks pretty good. It runs pretty good. That's about as far as I can say. But the biggest issue that exists is that through the marketing for Atlas Fallen, the game was built on this idea and design of this smooth cooperative experience, this drop in, drop out. You can play through the entire campaign together. And we were like, sweet. Love co-op experiences, let's get us some, right? And the thing is that the game doesn't tell you if the co-op isn't like going to work. So for example, what happened for us was that we started the game, you get past the initial cutscene, you make your character, and then the game says, hey, you can now do co-op. And we were like, sweet. Tony had started it out, he got to that spot and then said, I'll wait for you to watch the opening cutscene because I know you're going to want to watch it on stream and then invite me to your game. I was like, cool. So that's what we did, is he sat there at that first campfire right when it said you can join co-op. As soon as I got to that campfire and it said you can join co-op, I invited him to my game. He joined my game. We played for about 3.5 hours and then stream was over, ended the game, shut everything down, right? But when we closed down the game gave Tony a warning that said, hey, your co-op progress is farther ahead in the game than your single player save. Your progress will be lost. There was no option to overwrite. There was no option to just save it separately. Nothing. There's supposed to be a screen that says, would you like to save your world data, your character data, both, one or the other? None of them. Didn't give him that option. It gave him just an option to hit a button to say clear progress, and that was it. And we tried Alt F4ing, we tried a whole bunch of different stuff. And so when he relaunched the game and rejoined me, he was back at level 0 with no equipment. None. Zero. Nada. Zip. Nothing. We're like, okay, well, there just went 3.5 hours of work in progress and stuff. And part of us thought, well, we could just replay through it, but what is the guarantee that that isn't going to happen again? Or maybe it doesn't happen the next time, but it does then happen the time after that. Then what? And there doesn't seem to really be any clear indicator of how to make sure your co-op experience goes smoothly. And that was maddening. We did find a really jank workaround, which is I sent him my save file and he was able to load my character on his save and join my character with my character. And that allowed us to play a little bit more, but it was really hyper damaging to the experience, to the point where we were like, nah, I'm just not going to worry about it. Let's just set this game aside. We'll play 30XX or Remnant 2 or something else, because at this point, I don't actively want to play this game more. Which is unfortunate, because if you go back and look at the stream, we were having a good time. The game wasn't perfect. It had some issues here and there, but we were having a good time. And unfortunately, that good time was damaged by the game's own systems. And I don't know if it's a bug or if we didn't do co-op right, but the fact that there was no way to rebuild, retain the progress meant that we're not going to play it, which also means that I'm not going to review it. If you want a really quick off the cuff, the game looks great, visually fantastic. Like, they did a really good job with the visuals. The draw distance on this game is insane. You are able to have a really engaging co-op experience, to the point that like you can see your friend moving around all the way across the map. Because if this game has a draw distance, I don't know what it is. It must be huge. And they did a really good job at having scalable levels of detail, so that even when your friend is really far away, sure, they kind of just look like a little stick man, but you can still see them, and that's really cool. And also, it has a very free co-op experience. And I don't mean free of charge, I mean freedom of play. Because anything that you pick up, your friend gets, and anything your friend gets, you get. And this even includes turning in quests. So like, oh, I'm going to run over here, I'm going to pick this up, and I'm turning this side quest. You both get credit for completing that side quest, even if your friend like didn't go get the thing with you and wasn't there to turn it in with you, that's huge. That's massive. That's cool. Because it just means that you can kind of do whatever you want. You want to fight things together. You want to split up. You want to go explore things separately. Be like, yo, hey, I found this big thing. It's really well designed in that aspect. However, the combat is very shallow, is the way that I'll describe it. They tried to take some of their inspiration from the Surge and the Surge 2 in terms of being able to like destroy limbs, but it just doesn't feel like it matters. Even against the larger enemies and the boss enemies, it just doesn't feel like it has any weight or care of what you do. Depending on what part you break, you might be able to get some more loot, but it just doesn't feel like it matters. You're just smashing the attack button and occasionally tapping the parry or the dodge button. And it has so little depth. The skill ceiling feels really, really low, and the floor isn't very far away from it either. It's very lacking, especially when you come from games like Surge and Surge 2, which felt like they could have really excellent skill ceilings depending on how you approached individual fights. The writing in the game, terrible. World design, super cool. World's neat. The entire concept of what's happening is neat, but the writing is poor and the performances are even worse. One of the main characters in the game has a terrible performance, and I can't believe that that's the performance that they went with. Like that vocal director really should have like focused on what they needed to do, because there's no urgency in their voice even when they're in danger. It is extremely unfortunate. So at the end of it all, if I went with just the 3.5 hours that I experienced, it'd be like solo plays really, really bad. We're talking a 2 or 3 out of 5. And if you have a friend that you're going to play the game through and you are able to enjoy games with that friend, you're looking at a 3 to 4 out of 5, depending on how you enjoy and engage with the experience. But just be warned, there's a really good chance that your co-op experience is just not going to work. We did an investigation on it. I say investigation, we did some Google searching, and found that we are not the only people with this issue. It's a long list of people on Steam forums and Reddit that are like, yeah, all my co-op progress, gone, dead. It can't get it back. I hate this game, right? And you're like, that sucks. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I wish that wasn't the case. That's how this worked. I wish it wasn't how this went down, because we were enjoying it until the game just like dive bombed itself into the sand and buried so far that we weren't interested in raising it back up and just leaving it there and moving on to something else. We contacted Deck 13 because, of course, couldn't get refunds on this, because we were like, yeah, playing a co-op, woo, did 3 hours, which is an hour longer than the refund period on Steam. And my friend contacted Focus Entertainment, and I contacted Deck 13, and Focus Entertainment said, sorry, we're just the publisher. You have to go through the people that made the game if you want a refund. And I contacted Deck 13, and they're like, sorry, we don't have any system in place for refunds. We're just going to keep your money. Sorry you had a bad experience. Okay, thanks, bye. So, yeah, a little bit of feel-bads on it overall. But so that's why you won't see a review for Atlas Fallen on this channel, and why if you go visit us on Twitch, you will not see us playing Atlas Fallen anymore. But thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know what your thoughts are. You've played Atlas Fallen. How was your time with it? Put your thoughts down in the comments below. If you would like to come have a conversation with us about it on Twitch, come join us on Twitch. We're live 4 days a week, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. Most of the time, of course, with like life and stuff, we end up missing a stream here and there. But yeah, so I don't know what's next. Me and Tony might play, like I said, 30XX, or maybe like Remnant 2, or maybe I'll go back to Final Fantasy 14. There's plenty of options, but this has been a very disappointing experience, and I just wanted to let everyone know, and we'll move on from there. But if you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like. If you want to catch future videos, please subscribe to the channel. If you go watch one of the other videos on the channel, or if I see you in the live stream. Thank you, and enjoy.